In the heart of Igbo land, located between big hills and ancient forests, lay the village of Umudike. The village was known for its large farmland, where yam grew thick and palm trees swayed gently in the breeze. The people of Umudike were proud, deeply rooted in their traditions and customs. It was a place where the land and its people were inseparable, where the spirit of the ancestors watched over their descendants from the towering baobab trees. It was in this village that Nkem and Ifunanya first met. Nkem was a tall, strong young man with a smile that could melt the hardest heart. He was the pride of his family, known for his bravery in the wrestling ring and his skill in the fields. Ifunanya, on the other hand, was the epitome of beauty. Her skin glowed like the morning sun, and her laughter was like the tinkling of 1,000 bells. She was the daughter of the village wealthiest farmer, and many suitors had come from far and wide to seek her hand in marriage. But Ifunanya had eyes only for Nkem. They had met at the annual New Yam Festival, a time when the entire village came together to celebrate the harvest and give thanks to their gods. Nkem had been one of the wrestlers in the arena, and his strength and agility had caught Ifunanya's eyes. After the match, he was being crowned a champion. Their eyes met across the crowd, and something deep and ancient sparked between them. From that day on, they were inseparable. Nkem would come to Ifunanya's father's farm every morning to help with the chores, and they would steal moments together in the shade of the palm trees, talking about their dreams and the future. Ifunanya loved the way Nkem would weave stories from the old days tales of brave warriors and cunning tricksters. Nkem in turn was captivated by Ifunanya's gentle spirit and her unwavering belief in the goodness of people. Their love grew like the yam tendrils that climbed the stakes in the fields, strong and resilient. The village elders whispered about the two, marveling at the depth of their affection, but not everyone was happy. Nkem's family was from a neighboring village, Ogidi, and there had been a long-standing feud between the two communities. The origins of their conflict were lost in the mist of time, but the hatred had been passed down through the generations like a bitter inheritance. Despite this, Nkem and Ifunanya refused to let the enmity between their families and the villages come between them. They believed their love was strong enough to overcome any obstacle. They dreamed of a future where they could live together, raise a family, and grow old in each other's arms. But the world they lived in was not so simple. As the months passed, the whispers grew louder. Ifunanya's father, a proud and traditional man, began to hear the rumors of his daughter's involvement with a boy from Ogidi. Furious, he confronted Ifunanya one evening as they sat in the family compound. "Ifunanya, my daughter, is it true what I hear? That you are consorting with that boy from Ogidi?" he demanded, his voice trembling with anger. Ifunanya looked at her father, tears welling up in her eyes. She loved her father dearly, but her love for Nkem was undeniable. "Yes, Papa, it is true. I love Nkem," she replied softly, her voice steady despite the tears streaming down her face. Her father's face darkened with rage. "Love? You speak of love. Have you forgotten who you are? Have you forgotten the blood that flows in your vein? You are an Umudike daughter, and you will not bring shame to this family by consulting with our enemies. Papa, Nkem is not our enemy. He is a good man, kind and honorable. Our love has nothing to do with the old grudges between our people, Ifunanya pleaded. But her father would not be swayed. You will end the madness, Ifunanya. You will not see that boy again. Do you hear me? Ifunanya's heart broke that night. She knew her father's word was final, and she could not disobey him. But the thought of living without Ikem was unbearable. She cried herself to sleep, her dreams haunted by the image of Ikem's smiling face. The next day, Ifunanya met Ikem by the river, where they often spent their afternoons together. The water flowed gently, reflecting the clear blue sky above. It was a beautiful day, but the heaviness in Ifunanya's heart made it feel like the darkest night. Nkem, my love, we cannot be together, she whispered, her voice trembling as she held back her tears. Nkem looked at her, his heart sinking. What do you mean, Ifunanya? What has happened? My father, he has forbidden me from seeing you. He says our love will bring shame on my family, she said, her voice breaking. Nkem felt as though the ground had been pulled out from under him. He had always known that their love would face challenges, but he had never imagined it would come to this. Ifunanya, please, we can find a way. We can leave this place, start a new life somewhere afar. Nkem pleaded, desperation in his voice, but Ifunanya shook her head. Nkem, I cannot leave my family. They are my blood, my life. I cannot bring them dishonor. And you know, you have your own family, your own people. We cannot run from who we are. The two lovers stood in silence, the weight of their reality pressing down on them like a heavy stone. The love they had shared, so bright and full of hope, was now a shadow, a painful reminder of what could never be. Ifunanya, I love you with all my heart. I will always, Nkem said, his voice thick with emotions. And I will always love you, Nkem, but we must let each other go, Ifunanya replied, her voice barely above a whisper. They embraced one last time, holding each other tightly, as if trying to etch the memory of their love into their souls. Then, with tears streaming down their faces, they parted ways, knowing they would never see each other again. As Ifunanya walked back to her village, the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the land. The once vibrant colors of the world seemed dull and lifeless, reflecting the emptiness in her heart. Ikem watched her until she disappeared from sight, his heart shattered into pieces. The love between Ikem and Ifunanya became a story that was said among the villagers. A tale of two souls who had found each other only to be torn apart by the unforgiving hand of tradition. Their love was a shadow, a fleeting memory of what could have been, but it remained in the heart forever. And so the village of Umudike returned to its rootiness. The fields continued to bear fruit, and life went on. But for Nkem and Ifunanya, the world had changed. The shadow of their love lingered, a painful reminder that sometimes even the strongest love cannot overcome the barriers of the past.